Paragon and being part of Paragon Competitive League. Bans thus far, I think, are pretty much been Revenant and FaZe, the two most recent heroes. People don't want to deal with it, but Hydra says, nope, we don't want to deal with Grux. We don't want to deal with that man, as he is, I think, right now, arguably the strongest jungler, is the most well-rounded jungler in the sense that he can farm it without taking too much damage. He does it, level 2. He has gank potential, has good control over river buffs, and overall can just be a threat on the map.
That means we could possibly see FaZe banned out here. It's going to be interesting to see what Team Toxic decides to do, and whether they decide to ban out the hero. A Decker ban, and I mean, yeah. So if I'm Team Hydra, Shane, who am I picking first?
They insta-locked FaZe. Literally didn't even take a second. Boom.
Right?
Insta-locked in FaZe right there. So Team Toxic, as far as supports go, supports have been restricted down. There's Narbash, Muriel. We have seen Rampage be sort of a fallback support. Muriel, again, while she might not be the most premier pick for support, she still received an indirect buff with how shields interact with health and armor. But also, they don't really need to pick up their support immediately, knowing that Hydra has already picked up their hard support. They can save that for later on in the draft, put a more priority into two pretty strong heroes. Notch. Team Toxic, for their first 2 picks, are going to pick up Morgesh and Revenant.
I mean, expect an aggressive early game out of Team Toxic, then picking up both of these heroes. The early game on these heroes are just bonkers. You've got Morgesh, who is just an insane lane bully, and you've got the power of Obliterate and Scar on Revenant in that early game. It just allows him to push a lane very hard and hopefully secure those early game kills. Over on the high side of Hydra, Shane, I've got a black screen. Who is Hydra going to be picking up next? Who do you think they prioritize next?
Picking up Seraph very early on in the draft. Seraph, it's interesting that they were putting that much priority onto that hero. We saw what she can do last game if you ignore her and let her farm.
Right.
The damage output she has is insane if she goes completely uncontrolled. And then this is a hero we saw yesterday, didn't have much success. Crunch picked up from Hydra. Not Rampage, not Sevarog for their jungler. It's going to be the man with a big fist, the guy who likes to punch. Is going to be Crunch.
Dude, Cosby's a nasty Crunch. Cosby plays a nasty, nasty Crunch. I've had the honor of playing with that man, and his Crunch gameplay is outstanding. So it'll be interesting to see how he does this particular match. Picking a target, picking up Morgesh, and just blowing that hero up. Going to be very important. Team Toxic looks like they're going to pick up, if I'm not mistaken, a Bellica pick up there for their mid laner. Yep. Really strong mid laner. You think they're going to go with jungle next, or you think we're going to see them?
Rampage support is what they're going to pick up here for Team Toxic. So Rampage is a hero we haven't seen much of. He's pretty much just a fallback after Grux is taken out of the equation. Interesting, though. I mean, okay, this draft is getting real interesting real quick here, Notch. They picked up the Rampage. We were expecting that at this stage of the game. Teams generally either go with Sevarog or Rampage in this situation. But first we see a Crunch, and now we see a Grimmix on the side of Hydra. That's right. Not Murdoch, not Twin Blast, not Sparrow. A Grimmix immediately picked up. The support for Hydra is going to be a Muriel. No, I really like this Muriel pickup.
They already have a support, though. They have FaZe.
That's an off-lane support. That's an off-lane FaZe. That's 100% off-lane FaZe. That's what this is. So you're going to have... Think about this. Think about how much Crunch is enabled by this draft composition. Last support pickup here from Team Toxic. They have a pretty straightforward draft, but the draft we want to talk about here is Hydra's draft. You take a look at it and you're like, are these guys trolling? No, this draft is legitimate and is strong. This is a strong draft. Maybe exchange the Grimmix for a Twin Blast or a Revenant, but the big thing here is look how empowered the Crunch and the Seraph are going to be with both FaZe and Muriel. Allow that to sink in here. Crunch with FaZe's ultimate, with the damage mitigation and empowerment coming out for Muriel. This is a scary... The potential of this draft, I'm saying potential because we haven't seen something like this drafted before. But on paper, the Crunch and the Seraph are going to just be able to go crazy in this game. If Team Toxic doesn't have their CC on lockdown, which they have those tools, Notch. They have Boulder, Seismic Assault, Crash, Bang, Boom, Thunk. They have a good amount of control. But if they have one mistake with their crowd control and they aren't peeling effectively, this Seraph and Crunch are just going to walk all over them. This is a awesome draft. I'm really excited to see what the capabilities of this goes. With that being said, this is an unknown. This is a big unknown. We haven't seen this before, Notch.
Who's the mid? I'm so confused, Shane. I have so many questions. Shane, I've got so many questions. We've never seen a draft like this before.
I mean, maybe it's a mid phase and an offlane Seraph?
You know what I think we should do? I think we should jump into this game, Shane.
There's only one way to find out. I think maybe it's a phase mid offlane Seraph. We're going to have to see. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. I'm excited. I haven't been this excited about a draft in a really, really long time. I can't wait to see. We have a Crunch, we have a Muriel, we have a Phase, we have a Seraph. These are like all amazing, amazing heroes. And it's going to be an interesting time, guys. The thing about Crunch that people underestimate with him is he has one of the best, if not the best, 1v1 capabilities in the game. Crunch can 1v1 pretty much anyone from the 10 to 20 minute period given equal card experience, including Feng Miao, including Countess. He just punches Countess in the face like, oh, you're going to ult me? That's cool. Very, very good in that sort of situation. Then he put a Muriel on top of it, a Phase. This is going to be a great team. Let's introduce these teams before they start going fisticuffs here, though. Fireweed 61, take a breath on Morgesh. Toxic King Teeny on Revenant. Toxie Vol on Darbash. Zbez 13 on Bellica. And Mexico Dos Cinco picking up the Rampage. That is your team Toxic.
Over on Hydra, we've got that one legend on Grim. Cosby in the jungle looking to punch on Crunch. Tribal playing Phase in the actual support role. Regal.
Okay.
Regal is going to be playing offlane with Seraph, and that means we have a mid Muriel.
Okay, there it is.
Never seen mid Muriel. Going to be interesting to see how this one plays out. They've got a lot of ways to be aggressive. You've got Reversal of Fortune. You have, of course, Blind and Energy Lance coming out of Phase. Lots of ways to be aggressive. Lots of ways to keep Crunch in your face and deal that damage. I'm interested to see Vanilla QD's build. Are we going to see Adamant Edges early on to give him a little bit of power? Or are we going to see more of a support role?
This is, I mean, how can you drop analysis on something that we've literally never seen before in Paragon?
Yeah.
We can certainly just sort of postulate, pontificate, and theorycraft as to what's going to happen. Let's talk about this mid Muriel. Support Muriel, if she gets starved of levels, which obviously supports do inherently, but even more so if that lane doesn't go well, if your safe lane doesn't go well, your Muriel loses her strength extraordinarily quickly. More than any other hero, Muriel requires levels, more than any other support, to be specific. Putting her in the mid lane ensures her a very quick level 5 compared to other situations and roles we've seen her before. And this is not the first time we've seen Muriel in a solo lane position. Some time ago, we saw the top teams actually putting her in the off lane position with a Decker support or a Narbash support. And it was excelled, and actually we started to see Muriels get banned out during that phase when teams had that drafting style with putting Muriel in the off lane. It just gave them
just bonkers initiation. You'd see a jungler jump in, Reversal of Fortune. People were getting slowed and knocked up. And it just kept, it just made a second form of initiation for a team here. Fireweed is being very aggressive against that one legend and tribal over here. The slow's going to be there, but Shane, Crunch is rotating around. I think Fireweed sees it. I don't think he's going to be able to live here.
He's going to drop down. There's a snare. And there's the punch.
Surprise! Just out of nowhere. You're not expecting that robot in the jungle, a boxing robot, to be underneath of you. As you're like, oh, hey, this is going to... And they're going to pick up that kill. This is what I expect Toxic King and them to be doing, Shane, is being aggressive. This is what you want to see from them, right?
They're going to find another kill. Maybe. Cosby, there's the Muriel shields, the Void Bomb, the Phase, keeping him alive, the single target healing. This is... I feel like this composition is a... just empower the Crunch. Like, this Crunch... to me, is the core of this composition, right? You see the Phase, you see the Grimmix, you see the Muriel. Doesn't really make sense. Like, what makes this draft cohesive is the Crunch. His DPS capabilities, as long as he is provided enough support, is insane. Way more than any other jungler. And at the same time, he also inherently can be tanky. So, with him already picking up these kills, just 4 minutes into this game, he's already secured 2 kills, 1 for himself and an assist. This is what we want to see. Conversely, though, if Cosby doesn't have a good game, I don't expect Hydra as a whole to have a good game. A lot is riding on the shoulders of Cosby here.
I want to point out a card that Cosby picked up that we haven't seen a lot of in competitive play. And one I think that is really underestimated is the Lazarus Blade, Shane. It is basically a blade, a siphon, and a scythe combined. It gives you health, but the unique passive is your basic attacks deal 15 plus 15 damage on minions, and you also restore 8 health while attacking minions in the jungle. That's not a card we see a lot of, but it is a card Cosby's rocking right now.
I think that's just because ensuring Cosby's farm and his presence on the map is that important. It's that important with this composition. He is playing, building, completely surrounding himself at. I would say, I'm going to say it. This is a carry Crunch. I feel like Crunch is more of a carry than Grimmix is this game. Can I say that? Epic? Am I allowed to say that, Epic? I don't know. Is that part of the rules set? Is there a rule set saying Crunch cannot carry? I don't think that's the case.
Hey, people jungle
carry,
Kalari.
baby.
People jungle Kalari, so why can't Crunch carry?
Other side of the field here. Don't forget, they also have a Seraph as well, so there's still really good late game potential in the Seraph. And Grimmix, while he might be he's fallen out of favor significantly, pretty much for a long period of time. The only time we've seen her before was when he was running in the duo mid meta, when he was able to put in that 1v1 situation on ram rolls. But he still has a lot of good utility in his kit. Displacement. Oh, buddy, Morgesh has got to be careful. Getting dived underneath this tower, and Muriel's providing the shields. Muriel already level 5, 6 minutes into this game. If Reversal of Fortune needs to be used, it is online. He's going to use it. He is going to get taken out, though, so at least they get the trade notch.
Yeah, actually, Vanilla Cutie used that Reversal of Fortune to help the dive there, is what they do. Unfortunately, Seraph falls, but they do get a kill on Morgesh. Vanilla Cutie still farming away over here, which is pretty interesting. Hasn't gone back and purchased anything yet. He's sitting on 10 card power, but only utilizing 3 of those points. So we're not seeing that yet, what he's going to be building. I do expect standard support cards as we transition into the mid to late game, but early I wouldn't be surprised if we see Adamant Edges come online, giving him power and health. So Shane, 6 minutes into the game, 3 kills on the side of Hydra, 3 deaths for Team Toxic. Looking at the farm, I want to compare that one Legend to Toxic. They're both relatively close, 38 and 30 card power, only 1 card point difference here. FaZe and Grim, kind of a nasty combo together. When you look at her, her ultimate that gives you that attack speed, gives you that regen, gives you the cooldown reduction. It really makes it kind of a nasty combo. That one Legend can just spam suppression mode, the slow, and just continue to keep a target slowed on top of energy lance. A target does not get away. They're not going to escape. And then, of course, GTFO, get him the frick off the map. Is actually what that's called. Most people don't realize it, but it is get him the frick off the map. It's
just the map is silent.
Right. That's what GTFO stands for. So it is kind of a nasty combo to deal with. And this is the second FaZe game we've seen. She has been banned. Really, any chance they can ban it in FaZe gets banned. So this is the second time we've seen her being played by a really talented player, Tribal. Really just nasty support player. So
one thing that the composition of Hydra lacks quite a bit of is hard CC. They have some light CC and snares with Energy Lance, and as you mentioned, Suppression Mode, Chastise, Clarity. Cosby's the only one who actually has a stun, and it has to be often an empowered left crunch. Right crunch. Empowered right crunch, yes. So that's definitely something, if I'm Team Toxic, I'm looking to exploit. Get a lot of value out of Crash Bang Boom is the biggest thing that they're going to get out of that, be able to use it. And of course, they really don't have many tools to stop Rampage from just jumping in that backline. If he's in that backline, outside of snares and roots, once you're out of that, he's just going to eventually land a boulder and eventually be swiping those big claws of his onto the target. Toxic, the Reversal of Fortune. This is what we want to see, is aggressive, proactive Reversal of Fortunes as they dive. And now Revenant is the next one in trouble. Cosby swoops around, body blocks him, and he gets 2 kills. Here comes Mexican Joe, a little bit late to the party. He's going to try to pick up a kill, the Seismic Assault, the Void Bomb, and they are able to get an exchange here. But they've already lost 2, and this fight's looking pretty good. Look at this damage. He actually doesn't take as much damage from that Disruptor as we would think, but that's mostly because Bellica's only level 6. Now that one Legend Just going to try to get one more auto. He's going to be able to get it, though. He has to be careful because he's under a tower. And he's going to start taking that tower damage. Rampage is there to body block him. He gets taken out. Takes a trade as well. So the primary initiation, very clean from Hydra. Afterwards, got a little bit sloppy. They dove in between a tier 1 and tier 2 tower. Overall, a relatively even exchange that could have gone better for Team Hydra, but Team Toxic did sweep in at the right moment to get that clean up a little bit better what appeared to be an unfavorable fight.
Yeah, Joe coming in, picking up 2 kills there. 1 onto Cosby, 1 onto Legend. And they're going to continue to push this tower. They don't have any siege minions, so I don't know if they're going to be able to get it, especially with everybody spawning. But they are just going to apply a little bit of pressure, a little bit of damage. And then Toxic King, did he pick up the gold buff, or did Joe pick up the gold buff? I think Joe picked it up. Raptors are up. It's 10 minutes, 36 seconds into the game. Both of these guys have this warded. Expect to see another aggressive play. Once Vanilla Cutie's Reversal of Fortune comes back online, I expect to see an aggressive play. Look for a pick, and then Team Hydra go for some Raptors here.
Team Toxic, they need these Raptors desperately. Revenant is only at 13 card experience right now compared to Grimmix at 17, Crunch at 15. So very far behind. Engagement going down here at the Raptors, trying to do what they can. Team Hydra fighting into a Bellicadrone. And they're immediately retreating, recognizing that it's not a situation you want to fight into. Cosby and Mexican Joe are just going at each other for the time being. Mexican Joe is going to be okay. Pick up a tower on the other side of the field. The off-lane tower going to fall. Not the biggest deal in the world. A little bit sloppy. They could have prevented that happening if they set their lanes prior to that going down, but I don't think they were expecting a hard engagement. Cosby just casually inside of the jungle by himself. Reversal of Fortune, more than likely still on cooldown. And even if it is, Vanilla's still getting some work done. He gets pulled out of the harm's way with the telekinetic link. And now Legion is here popping off, trying to do what he can. Revenant snared up, but I don't think there's any damage following up here from Team Hydra to secure a kill. Cosby, that's FaZe and Muriel, man. How are they ever going to kill this Cosby between the two? And Vanilla gets another kill. That's a double kill over onto the Muriel. Things are just happening left, right, and center. Wow.
Double kill Muriel. She takes out a Revenant, and she takes out a Morgesh. She said, I don't care how strong you are early. I'm Muriel, okay? I'm one of the original heroes in this game. Showing up with BDPs, picking up kills. She has Honor the Pure online with her shields already. These guys... I just think it's funny that FaZe is linked to Muriel right now. Like this is, and they're pushing down a tier 1 tower. That's a Muriel, guys. Just so everybody's aware, that's a Muriel. Raptors are still up. All 3 Raptors are here. Cosby coming to clear this ward. Oh, is he not coming to clear the ward? He's ignoring the ward. They are going to go straight for the Raptors.
They're just going to tank it up here. Let's take a look at Cosby's build here. Crunch, you got to build tanky on him. Crunch is not someone you can go like, oh, I'm going to go a Rust Breaker into crit. You can't do that. Initiation, there's the Crash Bang Boom, but actually the Displacement Bomb used very effectively. If you can't interrupt it, get him the hell away from you. And that's what Grimmix is going to do. They're trying to chase the FaZe, but they got to be careful here because they're allowing Cosby in the backline to get completely unmitigated. Right now, he's taking a lot of damage on to the Narbash. A Seismic Assault is finally going to secure the means to get away for him. Boulder lands. Morgesh speeding herself forward, but Cosby knocks up 3 people right there. That's a toasty. He still gets taken out, though, and there's a good engagement coming up from Team Toxic. Well done by them. And they're finally starting to find a foothold inside of this game, something that has eluded them for the past 13 minutes and 37 seconds.
You pick up 2 big targets, you take out Grim, and you take out Cosby, who's just kind of had his way right now. So really good engagement for them. Are they going to push down this tier 1 tower? They need to get an objective off of this. Raptors are taken, so I expect them to go for a tower. They are trying to siege down this mid tower here. Morgesh is having to back up and deal with her lane. And we've got a split push coming out from Toxic King. Vanilla Cutie with another kill.
It was under a tower. The tower helped. The tower helped. They're trying to continue to do this, but just way overstaying their welcome, allowing Team Hydra to rotate immediately a double kill over in a Regal. Feeding that Seraph, but getting that Seraph fed, rather, would be the more appropriate way of putting it. And that was just them trying to find a tower push and getting completely punished for it. You can't just arbitrarily push down a tower. Got to be careful. We got to make sure you have your wards. All the meanwhile, Grimmix is farming up, and he's at 24 card points, so he's doing pretty good himself.
Grim did pick up a tower, or not, I'm sorry, not Grim. Remnant picked up a tower.
There you go.
So they do get a tower out of that. Of course, people fall. I mean, if I'm Hydra, I'm actually happy picking up the kills we got and just letting a tier 1 tower fall 15 minutes, and not the end of the world right here. Also, you were worried. You were saying, can Crunch carry a game? We've got carry Muriel happening right now. She's 3-0-5, Shane. Muriel's making those BDPs, boys. Muriel's making the BDPs.
A lot of posturing going down here mid lane from Team Toxic. They seem a little bit discombobulated as far as what to do. Of course, their lanes are a little bit pushed out. Left lane is now passed into their territory. Revenant and Narbash quickly rotating that way. And in these moments where the Raptors are down and teams are strictly just trying to get every inch, every resource they possibly can out of the map, even the smallest little details can snowball into something significant, just like missing 1 or 2 last hits every wave, not getting the most farm out of the jungle, not farming the jungle effectively, allowing them to be a 5-stack for too long, and essentially missing out on 1 or 2 extra jungle creep inside of the jungle, which then translates into a larger, more significant resource deficit because you're not getting as much as your Amber Link. So it all comes down to efficiency in these times, these 3 to 5 minute periods in between the Raptors during the mid game. A big concerted mid lane push here, coming out from Hydra with Cosby in the front line. They're trying to just take this tower down while ignoring the rest of the team, but they recognize they need to get themselves out of there. The forward crunch, more like the get the hell out of crunch, is what he's going to be used. Ultimate forced out from Rampage. They recognize with that cooldown no longer being online, this may be them looking for a reinitiation. It's a 4v4 situation. Level 5. They have to be careful of Crash Bang Boom. That's the biggest fear I'm having. Cosby charges in. Rehearsal of Fortune. They're going on the Morgus. She gets taken out immediately and turning over to Bellica. Lat 1 Legion is just trying to take him out. The Blink actually goes to the side, not to the forward. Unfortunately, that is not looking good for them at all. A very strong initiation. This is what we were expecting, is the initiation from Cosby being the primary catalyst for these team fights. And that's exactly what has happened. It has broke down into pure chaos. And they are completely on the retreat. Displacement Bomb not going to line up, but still very cleanly they go in and get the 4-man KO and looking for potentially a tier 2 tower push here.
Yeah, that reversal of fortune coming out from Muriel there is really what helped allow that. Yes, we had the charge in, but that reversal of fortune and the slow kept everybody in that area. They're able to deal quite a bit of damage very quickly, pick up a 4-man kill. Tier 1 tower is going to fall. Hydra, or I'm sorry, Toxic put a lot of pressure onto Tribal before that engagement happened. We saw Mexico Joe come out. He popped his ultimate. They tried to take FaZe out. Stasis Gem kept her alive, and then the reinitiation from Hydra there. And damn, it was a pretty reinitiation, picking up 4 kills in a tower.
It's the Muriel plus the Crunch, the Muriel plus the Seraph. There's so much synergy. I don't think we've seen a draft that just synergizes as well as this draft does, as far as their abilities. The weaknesses of each hero is completely supplemented and compensated for by another hero in this draft. It's not necessarily, let's just pick each really strong individual hero, like, oh, we're going to get Revenant and we're going to get Morgesh. Those heroes really don't have much synergy going on right there. But they are the weaknesses of the perceived weaknesses of these heroes are being completely compensated for, and there's more so, their strengths are being empowered greatly. And I'd love to see that we're starting to see teams draft in this sort of style, picking up what are now currently considered individually strong heroes, and just going for more so what is the overall look of the draft? What is the overall symbiosis that is occurring inside of the draft? That's what Team Hydra is doing right now, and we're going to see if they can continue to just get themselves into this fight. Cosby is trying to find out Bellica, has already used that forward crunch to get himself in there, and he picks up the Narbash very quickly and continues to move forward, picks up the Bellica. Elseer a little bit towards the east. Rampage is trying to do what he can, but if he doesn't have an ultimate, he's going to get taken out. And just like that, in what appears to be a blink of an eye, Hydra just go in and get the full handful. Orb Prime is immediately where they're going to retreat, and Cosby just has so much damage, especially with that Stinger boost.
Yeah, Stinger boost right there. It's prime time, ladies and gentlemen. They were able to pick up that 5-man wipe. They're going after the Orb Prime right now. I feel like Joe put a lot of pressure again back onto FaZe, but it left his team open. And without having that front line, without having that hero there to help body block and that extra stun, I mean, you just see Team Toxic get ripped apart after that engagement. Orb Prime activated. These guys are going to back up. They're going to buy, push towers down, get ready for that push. Are we going to see them go mid lane because tier 2's open here? Or are we going to see, you think they're going to take a different tactic?
I feel like this is their map to do whichever desired objective they feel to go on. Right. I love the Stinger Boost. Stinger Boost is pretty much, as of right now, in this current state of the game, really only used on Crunch. But if you think about it, you take a look at it. This is a card we don't see very often, so let's make sure we go over this here. Every time Crunch uses an ability, which all of his punches, as left punch, right crunch, left crunch, and forward crunch, all of those are going to grant him a portion of ability damage to his basic attack. So 50 plus 20% of his power. So that's a really, really great card on him, and is one of the reasons why that card allows him to do significant amount of damage while at the same time allow him to build tanky to make sure he doesn't get blown up. It's a well-rounded build is what you want to see on Crunch, and that's what Kazu's been doing thus far with the adamant edges, making sure he's not going too ham. Like I said, you can't go Rushbreaker crit on him. You have to go adamant edges, amulet of the veterans, things along those that sort of mindset.
He's going to forward crunch out. He is alone in the mid lane here. Just push that tower up. Forward crunches away while the rest of his team is pushing down a tier 2 tower over here. Just waiting for those minions to show up. This tower should fall pretty quickly.
Seraph is just in there trying to take out Revenant. Just one auto attack. I'm down to half HP. The Reversal of Fortune, the Ascend up in, and then coming down from the sky, raining all that demonic power onto him. And Team Hydra are just on a death march right here. They have taken every single engagement favorably with the Prime card activated. I'm not sure what Team Toxic could potentially do. They're looking for more. They get more. What Team Hydra wants, they get. And Rampage gets taken out. 5 go down again. I believe that's the 3rd ace of this game. Who would have thought a team with Grimmix, 2 supports, and Crunch would put on as dominating as a performance as Team Hydra did right